Today is May 26, 2025. Yesterday, on May 25th, I was in Summit Mall in Fairlawn. I was in Hollister. Boys were cackling. Boy, that Bill from the Freemasons ran that big scam here. Ran that big contest here. And he scammed everybody into helping out. He had somebody tape her washing herself in the shower. Can you imagine that? And they're giggling. And Photoshop that another. Imagine Photoshopping somebody washing themselves. Had somebody go in there and drug her up and tell her to say that before. Can you imagine having somebody drug somebody up and go in and say something like that? Drug them and tell them to say something like that. Can you imagine? He did that. And they're cackling. Then he ran a contest here to see who could steal her informant money. Who could come up with a big scam. He ran a big scam here in a big contest for people to steal her money. And they all helped out and he scammed them into doing it. And they're cackling. Other girls are so stupid. Well, that Bill tried to keep people away from her. No, he paid him to be here, honey. Like those boys said, he paid for it. Where in January to April of 19, Freemasons are following me around. Been saying some guy named Bill is paying for everything. People are trying to shoot me in the head. They bashed me in the back of the head, beat, raped, and left me for dead. They're saying Bill's paying for it. Minerva McDonald's, Sunday morning, January to April 19. Go in there before 10 o'clock in the morning for church, use the bathroom, get something to drink. Freemasons are following me around. They go to come in. I look down because they've been harassing me. The guy said, Bill, you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for people to follow around saying and doing stuff. In front of me. And I glance over a little bit to see him. Wouldn't look at him. She won't even look at you. You tell people you like her and she won't even look at you. He don't like me. He's paying people to hurt me and harass me. No, I won't look at him. Okay? They told people in 18, that where he had bruises before, throwing up and infected, it wasn't the well water, it was us. We were drug, beaten, raping you. We had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. We photoshopped our lives. We have some guy named Chris out of the room. Didn't have a Chris in my house. Don't know who he is. They talked about him. Okay? They said they photoshopped all their lives. And by January 19, it was effeminate wipey above the toilet, wiping yourself in another room. By 21, it was a shower scene of washing yourself in another room. They admitted they drugged me and told me to say it before repeatedly. Admitted a frame of me March 24th, 22. In 18, they said they were going to run a contest. Who could come up with the biggest scam to steal my informant money? And it was a contest. They would pay 20, people were willing to let my skull be bashed in, raped, tortured, beat with internal injuries, almost shot driving, drugged till I lost 70 pounds, raped and tortured for a $20 tank of gas, for a $40, $60 blouse, a $20 dinner. He made it a game. Made it a game. And those people are saying we're drug traders and human traffickers. People are disappearing. Thousands of people disappeared. They're telling that people they're human traffickers. Okay? Who they work for, everything under police surveillance. Okay? This is a big drug scam. March 27th, 25, up in above Hartville. I'm working out. I stayed up and I went through everything. Some guy's outside where I'm working, right outside the window where I'm working. Okay. Outside talking. I broke up with Michelle today. Yes, I'm good with it. She confessed to me that she was part of trying to kill her when they bashed in her head. They tried to leave her incompetent or kill her, and it didn't work. And the reason she don't know who that doctor is, he's not one of hers. He works for them and they had lied. She doesn't even know who he is. Got it out of Dave where he was telling everyone that he was forced into marrying her. And no one at that church forced him into marrying her. But a girlfriend from before her made him marry her. So he could get a job at her dad's factory. She'd have free insurance to use. The woman using my insurance was a girlfriend from before me. My whole marriage was a scam. And he didn't have extra money to give her. Within 9 months, my dad gave him a job at the factory. He was only making $80 a week working for John Cowgill. He made $1,000. And a heavyset white brown woman was showing up at the factory, and he's denying it. And I'm telling my brother, get me proof. Then all of a sudden, we got all these hospital stays, medical bills, procedures that weren't mine. Stuck with copays. She ran up $50,000 to $100,000 worth of copays over 15 years. It's documented even by the police and the FBI that half my medical records are some other ladies. My brother knew of her. Every union rep, Kay McMillan, threatened to put Dave in jail for identity fraud and insurance fraud. And he's like, some crazy lady stole your insurance, Karen, and your ID. It's not me. I would never do that. Yes, he did. I was nothing but a scam to him. You know, I would at least like to have thought that he at least loved me when he first married me. I was nothing but a scam to him. That's why he could beat on me every time he had a bad day. Then be sorry for 2 years and then beat on me the next time he had a bad day. Stockholm Syndrome. Women that and people that are extremely abused or kidnapped make themselves think that they're madly in love with that person so they can survive the abuse. It's a self-coping mechanism to survive terror. I've grown a lot since this case because the feelings are real. You really love them. You really think they didn't mean it. Oh yeah, they meant it. They meant every bit of it. They'll change. You're tough enough, you can live through it. They really love you. They just had a bad day. Make excuses for them beating the hell out of you. There's no damn excuse. Because if they actually cared for you, respected you, they'd never put a hand on you. Like I said, I've grown a lot. Okay. These people admitted by 21 they put a shower scene in the other room. Years ago, admitted they drugged and told me to say it before. In 18, they said they were using the Florida drug cartel doctor. That he was even running experiments on me. By 19, that he had never even met me. He wanted to meet me in person. The person he'd been running experiments on. That he was outside the food court at Belden. It's like, hell no. Found someone to talk to and left through Macy's. See what I mean? Get away from this. Not stupid enough to walk out that door. Okay. You know, I heard the neighbor in another apartment building talking to a guy. I've been wondering what these people are doing. They already said that doctor worked for the cartel years ago. Years ago. They told everybody. 18, 19, 20, 21. Hmm? So they're trying to pull a fast one. Hmm? Told you, they told everybody where the Freemasons confronted Bill uh, January to April 19 that he was paying for everything. They even told you they were running a contest who could come up with the best scam to steal my informant money. And then they were doing the con of giving people $20 for gas, buying them $40 shirt, all kinds of stuff to get these. And these people were willing to let somebody's skull be bashed in, be raped, tortured, human trafficked. And other people are being taken. And they're saying they're the human traffickers. Hmm? And they help out for $20. What is wrong with society in this area? Yesterday, those boys cackling in holsters in Summit Mall. That Bill from the Freemason ran a big scam here. He conned everybody into helping out with this big scam. Ran that contest. Who could steal her informant money with the best scam? Can you imagine? He had someone tape her in the shower washing herself. Can you imagine taping somebody washing themselves and then putting that in the other room? Then he had someone break in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine having somebody drug somebody up and tell them to say that? I know, and they ran a scam on it. And all these people fell for it and helped out and were cackling. Cackling. Where I have internal injuries and almost died, they're cackling at his scam. March 27th, 25. An agent was dating Michelle, part of the drug cartel. Got her to confess that I don't know who that doctor is. He's not one of mine. He works for them. And they had lied. That she was part of trying to have me killed when they bashed in my head or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. That Dave, his girlfriend from before me, had him marry me under a scam. So she'd have free insurance. Because back then you didn't show ID. You could go into a brand new doctor, fill out your information. They took your word for who you were. You didn't have your insurance card, you called in later. Hospital stays, surgeries, never showed ID. She used my prescription card. Couldn't get pain medicine filled, said I picked it up the week before. I didn't. She even stole my pain medicine. She had other prescriptions filled that were not mine. Even today, you can go through Walgreens, give them your name and address, they hand you your meds. But back then, you never showed ID for hardly anything. People took you at your word. And that's how people used to have surgeries under other people's names, hospital stays. And that's how they got away with this big scam of that other girl using my insurance. My brother knew over my mom, every union rep. And Kay McMillan, the secretary, said that there was rumors of him cheating, and there's no way she would have got the company's information if Dave didn't give it to her. That agent even got it out of the Vegas that why would you tell people to offend you? He called her a faker. Said it didn't even concern him. They just lied so people will help out. Dave, It was his girlfriend before me using my insurance. He told other investigators on the 31st. Michelle was so mad because he broke up with her since she confessed. April 17th, 25. We're in Sheetz gas station. She's so mad, that guy. She has a tendency to follow me around. Carl had to use the bathroom. I pull in. He's seen her in there. She walks out to a blue SUV. There's big government SUVs driving around. They stop when she walks up to the SUV. Said I talked to the police up there. They said, how dumb was I? Confessing to that guy, that doctor was not one of hers, but worked for them, and that they had lied. That he was my doctor. And that she was part of trying to have me killed when they bashed in my head. That he's an agent, I'm a informant. And that they all could end up in jail for this. Okay? April 3rd, 25, there's a heavyset white woman and walks out ahead of Carl and I at a Dutch Valley restaurant in Sugar Creek. Guy with a beard follows us, and she's telling him down in Sugar Creek their whole scam of the doctor. That he's not one of mine, that he works for them, and that they had lied, and it's got out and the whole scam's ruined. April 24th, 25. I'm in Summit Mall. My brother goes in an eyeglass shop, and I'm waiting out in the main area. The Texas group is up there. And they are yelling out, you tell that guy Will here to pull off a scam to join us. That it was all ruined. Michelle told on him that that doctor was not one of mine, but worked for them, and they had lied. Tell him we said to take care of Michelle for running the scam. Okay? By the 25th, above Hartville, people were outside. Are they crazy? Or they said, they're threatening Michelle. We're all glad that Michelle told on them that that doctor was not one of hers, but works for them, and they had lied. And it's probably that bill from the Freemasons. We all know he pays everybody to follow around and say and do stuff to her. And this whole thing was initiation to get in a drug cartel. And look at all the things they did to her. Okay? People in Maslin. We're all talking about Michelle telling on him for lying. That doctor was one of mine, but it works for them, and that they had lied. Okay? Well, they said that in 18. Works for the cartel. Okay? And what are people doing? When that family admitted they did not know about a shower scene in the other room and about button cameras, we knew they photoshopped everything years ago. What are people doing? Confronted Danny and Jenna on Christmas Eve of 22. Mother's Day, I am up in Summit Mall, and people were talking. We heard that other drug cartel was here threatening Michelle. Are they crazy? For telling on them that that doctor wasn't one of hers, but works for them, and they had lied. Are they crazy threatening her? Okay? So, now I want you to think about this. HIPAA violations, right on Google. If a doctor discusses you without your consent, it's a 10-year sentence. If they are not allowed to say they seen you, what they treated you for, or anything you said to them. HIPAA and Privacy Act. Your medical records are your own. It's illegal. It's a 10-year sentence. And if they willingly do it and do not fix it within a timely manner, they can get $1.5 million fine. Okay? They cannot tape you unaware. It's under privacy. It's a 10-year sentence. So their scam is so unbelievable. The doctor would go to jail regardless and it'd be covered under the Act of Privacy. They would go to jail regardless. Like they said, these people didn't realize putting the word doctor on it. Doctor on it. How illegal it made it. May 17th, 25. I'm in Soul's Palace, one of the apostolic godless women. Long hair, skirt, demon possessed, is in there, and they got her under surveillance. Thank goodness. We had a doctor tape her unaware. Thank goodness we had that doctor have her say the filthy, dirty statement. And because we had that doctor do that to her and have her say that, we have an agreement with law enforcement. We can do whatever we want to her and just tell them we did it to her and then we made fun of her. And we can do whatever we want to her. Psycho? No, you can't. They're lying to you. Just like where after Michelle confessed in that parking lot on April 17th, 25, the FBI showed up in Hartville Flea Market. How dumb are these people? You wouldn't believe how dumb they are. She calls the FBI hotline for help. They immediately walk into an FBI office and confess they're illegally monitored on their own. And they already know she called the FBI. And trust me, nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam of taping you unaware before confessing your crimes. Sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. I want you to think about this. They're not allowed to tape you unaware. Right on Google. It's illegal. They go to jail for it. Privacy Act, HIPAA. 10 years. Okay? They are not allowed to say they seen you, treated you for anything without your consent. Or they go to jail. And $1.5 million fine. Now, if they know somebody's being hurt by federal law because they're doctors, and they hold a license, they have to give a limited report to the police. There may be a problem there. I need you to look into it. If they do not, they lose their license forever and go to jail as an accessory. Now, can a dirty doctor be in it with Dave? It's supposed to be mine? No, hell no. Can they be in an office with people saying, hey ho, we're trying to kill her because our minister called her a faker 15 years ago? Not even a little bit. Think about that. They go to jail regardless. Nobody would fall for that. We're not saying that you're trying to fool the local yokels on a corner or on a bar stool. You are trying to fool the FBI, the federal government. And you don't think they know those laws? How dumb were you? They took every law that can't be broke and tried to break them in front of them. Like they said, nobody ever fell for a dirty doctor taping you unaware because it's illegal. Confessing a crime sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. They'd go to jail for that. Then it sounded mechanical. We knew they altered everything. I want you to think about that. They knew it. And the weird with yourself, we knew it was photoshopped or washing yourself in the shower. They photoshopped everything. But if they're going to be that dumb and try to pull this with us, we told Agent John to go tell on that other church to her for calling the FBI hotline before he talked to her and to act as dumb as these people. That's why he was up there telling people he knew I was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care because someone called me a faker. It was an act to find out who all was involved. And like they said, we all realized how not funny this is when the other group showed up and said they worked for a drug lord and Dave hired them. You know, that drug cartel, the Texas, they were leaving threats on Michelle. They were going to shave her head, make her work for them. All kinds of crazy crap. That's why I was like, Michelle, get to the FBI. Maybe cut a deal with them. Give them information on these people. Maybe they'll put you in a witness protection program with money and immunity for life. You know where kids are being taken and held? You got enough information. These people are known for dismembering people. While people are thinking it's funny helping out, these people dismember people. My old co-worker Lori lives here in town. I was working at a 2-client lift. She had a text message. Her friend got killed in Canton. And they walked up and just shot him. She's like, this is as bad as when they took my family member. And they laughed in my face. They tied her up and cut her up in pieces and how they killed her. Just like it's so funny they raped her. It's so funny they raped her. And they had people make fun of me. I looked at her, I said, people are sick. She said, you want to see a picture of her? She was beautiful. I took a deep breath and I said, did you know about the guy in the white van? She's like, how'd you know about the white van that took my family member? I said, did you see the big truck, guys? And the people that were here in Louisville years ago said they were from Florida. Yeah, they were in the bars. Me and my boyfriend go there. They said they were drug traders. They did. Do you know of Henry Mavi? Sounds about right. He was with him. Sure, the picture from Facebook, that's not him. But he is with him. And then tries to drill me out. I knew. I didn't want to tell her she was drinking with her family's killers. I was afraid she'd try something and they'd kill her too. They took Marlisa's niece on Christmas Day of 18. Same people. I worked at a total care client up in Akron. Our cleaning lady was a retired CIA agent. She was a sniper for him. She smokes too much now. She was captured and roofied several times and drugged up real bad. She ended up retired. For someone who's retired, she talks to him. She said, you know, you can tell you've been around the human traffickers, the way you stand, the way you talk, the way you act. She said it's like talking to a mafia mama. Every time I talked to you, it's like talking to a mafia mama. I said, well, they'd walk by me in stores. They'd laugh at me and yell at me. Your hair looks awful. It should be this color. You should have your hands on top of each other, not together. When you speak correctly. You say your day went well. Not good. You should wear this. You got to do this. You got to do that. She's like, you need to be careful. That's when the special outfit comes out. I said, they talked about that. She said, that means you're sold. She said, do you know they walk up and shoot people in the car? I said, I heard that. Do you know they dismember people? I said, I heard that one too. She said that Texas group is so dangerous. They've killed both FBI and CIA agents, and all law enforcement is after that Texas group. For we all work for the king from Texas. We are his men. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. You look him up. He is U.S. military, Iraqi translator. Went into the dark web, malware, fentanyl king. That's where the Middle Eastern men and the Muslim women. These people are so stupid. They would say the Kingsmen were in the mall and they were going to go in to see them. They're pimps that work for a drug lord. They don't work for a real king. They work for a drug lord. Are you nuts? It'd be they follow the ones they want and wait till they're alone and they grab them. They're pimps. These people were so ignorant they ran scams. If Karen don't say anything today, she can go out with one of the guys. I don't want to go out with no pimp and end up dead. Hell no. So you know what I do? I get up every morning, find somebody. Do you know my ex-husband beat me? And they'd walk off and laugh. He went out with somebody else instead of you. Good. Now, are they nuts going out with him? One time they did it and guys showed back up and said, some guy started beating the girl he went out with today and they had to pull him off of her. He lost it. They're pimps. They sell people, women and children, to be killed and to be murdered and for sex slaves. Are you nuts going out with these people? They're the demons of hell. Do you know how many times they try to sell me? Huh? Do you know how many times they've sold me? Twice. And they wouldn't let the people have me. One to an African American guy, and it should be January 25th, 2019. In a legally bugged house. He paid $25,000 for me. Huh? Dave got caught in the middle of the cell while I was crying in my room, and they wouldn't let him have me yet. And then to that older Indian guy, what was it? The week before. Showed up when I got my stomach scoped. My beautiful princess. My beautiful, beautiful princess. And it wasn't a month ago that one guy was out on the phone outside my work talking to him. So we all know our grandfather bought her for one of us. Well, I'll tell you what, Agent John showed up told them off. How dare they interfere in my life? And I'll tell you what, last week that person was outside and he was talking to a whole different person. And they said something about Karen's will. And these dumb people, after they left, some guy was outside. I heard that guy say something about Karen's will. Well, when I pull out, he don't say a damn word anymore. Or pull in if he's outside. You forget the FBI's listening. They've got thousands of drug dealers, human traffickers, found hundreds of kids they took. See, where these people said, we'll ruin her reputation. She can't testify against us in court. They didn't want my testimony. They didn't want a drugged up rape victim. You know what they wanted? The court order. They wanted the court order. For a protective life case, a threatened attempt to life case, for an FBI informant with statements. ordered her to legally bug my phone, my home, my car, for you to confess around me what you were doing and the crimes you were committing, and for the police to get it under surveillance. They wanted your confession under police surveillance. In Akron last year, they had it on the news. There's a despicable act of some law enforcement feeding women and children back to drug dealers to get the drug dealers. Should never happen, and is happening. Agent John, I'd like my money. We all know this was a scam for Bill from the Freemasons to get in the drug cartel. July 8th, 24, 9:10 in the morning. Altman Hospital billing department calls me and said my credit card won't work. I just used it at McDonald's. I said, let me finish getting my drink and I'll pull over and give it to you. And I could hear the guy in the background through Bluetooth in my car. Okay? I paid for those men to show up here. I paid those people to come here. I paid those men to do all those things to her. I paid people to follow around and say and do stuff to her. I know she only carried a gun because Dave was controlling what's going on. But Friday, up in Akron, men on motorcycles pulled in. Don't say a word to her. They said the guy's saying he's the agent over a case. And he said he was in it with Dave. And he was paying for all this. In October, in Belden, they were talking in Golden Corral. That Bill from the Freemasons telling everybody he's the agent over a case. We had him look him up. He's not an agent. He lied to everyone. We all know he's paying for all this. I know. It's his scam to get into the drug cartel, where Dave had already hired the Florida drug cartel. They were around me 6 months before. That's why I was almost kidnapped, almost carjacked. Why Michelle on Lenox Avenue in Maslin, my next door neighbor, seen 2 men watching my house, but I hardly left my house. Unless I was with Dave or the kids, waiting for the opportune moment. And then after 4 attempts, they decided to run this big frame. And that's why they kicked in my door. Now, that idiot in my old apartment, the one with the Jesus on the back of his truck, I say demon, he tells everybody he has my medical records. Where the hell would he get them? Who stole them out of the hospital? That's a federal crime. He don't even realize he's confessing to federal crimes. And where the FBI called these people dumb for walking in their office. Hello, dumb person that was in the office. March 30th, 25. My bedroom, my bed lays right next to the window by the parking lot. I'm laying in bed, stretching out. I have to work that night. Trying to relax. I hear, I was in the office when they met with that agent. I'm like, oh, hell no. Look out the window. He's like, and when they met with that agent in the office, where that church is sending out emails asking people to show up and harm her. His religious group was the first group to respond to that email and to make sure she got nothing. His religious group hurts people. Does he realize what he's confessing? A good godly person would have called the police. Turn it into the FBI. Someone called trying to hurt someone. Good people don't hurt anybody but in self-defense. Godly people don't. Bible preaches against it. So he's a demon-possessed person. And he's out there, when that agent asked her if she knew who that doctor was, and she said she didn't even know who he was. He's not my doctor. He knew she was lying. He turned her back over to us, and he said he didn't care what we did to her. Liar. You don't get special permission to kill, drug, beat, rape, crush people's head in, torture them. You don't get special permission, nitwit, to be a terrorist. They're going to say the FBI gave you a special permission to shoot up a school, blow up an airplane, rob a bank? You got bunny permission? There's no such thing. But he thinks he's so great because he was in there fooling that FBI agent, and they never fooled him. So FBI, when you do the roundup of things, one of the idiots are in my old apartment. And he goes around telling all the neighbors, that doctor has her tape saying, the filthy, dirty statement where they admitted they drugged me and told me to say it years ago. Repeatedly. He was part of the drug scam. He's probably one of my rapists. He glares at me when I go outside. He makes faces at me like this, dancing around me and my new husband. He thinks he's funny. He tells the neighbors, now I've lived here for 6 years. Okay? Been here since 19. He tells people, you should be afraid with her. I don't want to have to worry about her living in this building. I've lived in this building for 6 years. I'm not the one they should be afraid that's here. His religious group hurts people. They're part of the human traffickers running scams on people. They sold kiddie porn on my grandkids going potty. Having people drugged for fake confessions, photoshopped washing, and a drug scam on people. His religious group is part of drug scams. Human trafficking scams. His religion. Who should you be afraid of? Him. Need to be scared to death he's in this building. He goes around telling people, I don't want to have to worry about her here. You know the only thing people worried about? My ex-husband being part of the drug cartel. And the drug cartel doing something here. They yelled out, they framed me March 24, 22. People screamed out they were sorry for participating. They found out they made everything up on me. 22. May 25th, 21. 6 p.m. of the church people breaking in before, drugging me, telling me to say weirdo molester stuff. 8/9/21, the apartment building for me, second close offense, a lady and little girls live there. We're out there talking about it. 1295 Fairlawn. November 1st to 3rd of 21, they were a lady in Save-A-Lot was saying how they made everything up on me. December 9th, 21, Edith Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue in Canton. Maintenance man. Of all the tapes before were them and not her, and it was just a bunch of men doing crimes down here to see if someone will stop it. Same day, white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force in Canton on 9th Street. Was one of my guards came out from distributing food. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. January 19th, 22, 11 o'clock in the morning, the Department of Disability. They told the Stark County social workers I was drugged and told to say it before, and these people were pulling a scam on me. They told them again in October and November 22 that these people were pulling a scam on me. People literally had enough nerve to show up when I was getting my med certification through the state and going to classes, and were outside the classroom mocking me. I went to leave on the last day and it was quiet. There's social workers out there. People showed up and said they had special permission to make fun of her, so we called the cops on them. They already told us what they were doing to her. They're running a scam on me. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory. A Latino man admitted he drugged me first and told me to say it. People ran in Save-A-Lot, 6th Street in Canton. They were running out of the house yelling to the postman. An investigator from Ravenna and Black Sebring pulls up on 6th Street and said, I seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. Officer Mark yelled it out in Kohl's parking lot in Belden in August of 23. It's documented and verified. She was framed before, and it was a drug cartel in her home before. We've seen them. It's documented and verified. Another woman was using her insurance, and it was a medication error that made her sick before. 23. March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put 2 clips together, made a porn. It's not her, it's them. Huh? Then later on, what they were describing is showering. Sounds like you were showering. You're washing yourself in the shower. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose. April 16, 23, where I had confronted Danny on Christmas Eve of 22, he didn't know anything, or Jen or the kids. Jen's mom's memorial service. I go to get my car across the parking lot. He still don't know I know. Him and Jen and the kids walk up to Gabe and Shay, my other grandson and his girlfriend at the time, said I finally went to Dad, asked him, what on earth is going on? He said he hired some guy named Pete on his own. Miss Pete has met in her home before. Pete has her framed. Pete has her tape saying the filthy, dirty statement. He's got her framed. Put a name to the black and blue marks. They said Pete's a drug dealer up there, the investigators. It was Pete that did it, not a doctor. Pete. I would take a drink out of a Diet Coke, the room, and go dizzy and black. Come out of it, bruises, orange, lemon, grapefruit, throwing up, dizzy, almost passing out, heart racing. Personal area so swollen it's pushed open and down. The well water's orange brown. We had to get a water treatment system. You have to shower real quick. You have to wash your hands after using the bathroom, but bring bottled water in to cook and drink. And it took us a couple of months to get that water treatment system. Okay? Wake up with marks that look like injection marks. Same thing. No memory. Told you I have 3 weird memories before the FBI. Sound of footsteps. A white man's arm with a white dress shirt, gray pinstripes, and a giant syringe coming at me in the room going dark. Feeling like my back was being ripped to my chest. And every cell in my back and inside and all over my whole body, more pain than I've ever felt in my whole life. Screaming in agony, screaming. And all I could hear is the wails of my screams, and I can't see and I can't breathe. Amy thinks they were smothering me. I thought it was a nightmare. Dark days. And it makes me so sick that on April 6, 25, Dixie said, Poor Dick. Had to sit and listen to her have wild sex with other men. He let them in and sat in the basement while I wailed and screamed under drugs while they were beating me and raping me. The bastard sat there and listened to it. He sat there and listened to it. They just didn't break him when he wasn't home. He let him in and he sat there and listened to it. He sat there and listened to it. Agent John, why didn't you cock him? Bitch slap him. He sat there and listened to it. And so I'd wake up with giant orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises. Heart racing, throwing up, almost passing out. Severely affected, I'd scream when I'd pee. And he sat there and listened to it. I never even had my neighbors in my home. And that bastard in my whole apartment want to say he was part of that? Why the hell is it somebody arrested him? Now, I remember another time I went to leave, and all of a sudden not the room, but I was in the driveway, and my vision started crossing. And I kept rubbing my eyes, what's wrong with me again? And I went to back out, I hit a tree. I pulled forward, what's wrong with me again? And I went in and laid down. Some guy the other day said, do you realize? I realized how many legal drugs they were using on her for the room to go dizzy and black. And for the vision to start crossing. They roofied Mike in the other apartment building on the end. He moved out. The cartel roofied him. He didn't know how he got home. Didn't know how he got money in his pocket. Didn't know what was in a box with mustard. Didn't know how he changed his shoes. And he's trying to tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. Told him go sleep it off. He was stoned out of his mind. He went back down the bar during the second beer. Told everybody he was an astronaut. I met a U.S. Marshals kid. She got roofied twice by the cartel. Took a drink and the room went dizzy and black. Didn't know what happened to her. One time she ended up in the hospital. Didn't even know how she got out of the bar. My co-worker Dar got roofied. And she was taken and she was raped and left in a puddle of pee. And her friend says she took a drink and she acted a little happy. She don't remember anything after that drink. Found herself in a puddle of pee. She's raising somebody's kid she never met. So it's not that I don't love my son, but I don't know what happened to me. They said she was acting fine, talking to him. And I was talking to Danny and Jen about it. And she said, it doesn't matter how you're acting. You're sleepwalking with those drugs. There's over 10 to 20 prescription drugs in high doses will make you sleepwalk without the legal ones. They're fake sodium pentothal reports. In August of 19, I went to work at Ohio Catholic. They were still breaking in and stabbing me in my sleep. Okay? Men were laughing that somebody was taking a payoff to let men break in my apartment and rape me. I'd wake up and men would be attacking me. And the room would go dark. And I barely had enough money to eat. And I would have to go to work drugged up and raped. And they would show up and laugh at me that someone took a payoff. I go up to stairs after I started at Ohio Catholic Bank, and the manager's complaining. She has so many drugs in her system. Well, should have knocked out a horse, and she's out walking around. She had Valium mixed with a bunch of other drugs. Valium alone in a high dose will make you sleepwalk with no memory. And he's blaming off the drugs that were in my system. They said she's helping the FBI with a case and no one's allowed to say a word to her. Their fake sodium pentothal reports are cocktail drugs. I'm going to upload